Hey guys, what's up? It's Joe Raiti from Raiti's Rides. I'm back here at one of my favorite filming spot locations because guess what? We have that one iconic British brand for you. What is it? It's this vehicle right here. This is a 2024 all-new Aston Martin DB12 Volante. But before we get into this super sexy drop top, let's talk about what's going on here. Aston Martin. It's that iconic British brand that goes back to the early 1900s, really focusing on style, performance, and of course luxury. Now, Aston Martin over the years has kind of had to reimagine themselves as a brand and really kind of go back to the drawing board on some of their models to bring them closer to the forefront. One of the biggest changes that they made is that with their small Vantage sports car, that now is the entry model into the Aston Martin family. Once upon a time, many years ago, it was actually the top trim. That was during the early 007 days, like Goldfinger, the movie Goldfinger with the Vantage, the DB5 Vantage that was in Goldfinger. Now fast forward to model year 2024, you still have three unique vehicles in Aston Martin's lineup. You have the Vantage, you have, of course, their first ever performance SUV known as the DBX, and then you have this car, which is known as the DB12. Now, what's fascinating is at this level of luxury and performance, a lot of people would consider a supercar. But what I want to find out is the way that Aston Martin designed and engineered this vehicle, is it the very rare, hardly ever seen luxury supercar? So let's go ahead, let's dive into our Aston Martin and find out. Right off the bat, the style. There's just something about the DB12 where it hits you as soon as you see it because of its extreme length and extreme wheelbase and the sexy curves that it has. It really garners your attention. Now at the front of the business, you're going to see an all-new headlight housing, and I really like the way they shaped it. So you have some silver on the interior, some black, but you're going to have your LED projector beam headlights, a little bit of a kind of squadron of LED turn signals, and then of course these are also our daytime running lamps. As you work your way down, we have this wire mesh finish, functional corner air curtains. Love this color. It's called Q Ion Blue, and it sparkles like a jewel in the Florida sun. And then you also have on the lower extension these gloss black extended splitters on each corner to help with aerodynamics. Now, as we come across that iconic shaped grille, no matter what Aston Martin you're looking at, this is the style grille, the shaped grille you're always going to see. You have the silver on the horizontal bars, flat black on the vertical bars. You do have a forward-facing camera. And then working your way down, that wire mesh actually goes all the way across the bottom, and I love the way they extended the lower lip out. This car can do over 200 miles an hour. So one of the things we want to avoid is tons of air getting underneath the front and creating lift. But definitely love just the style and the size of the grille. You know, big grills are hard to find when they look good. And I really feel like Aston Martin made this one look spectacular. Let me know what you think about it in the comments section. Now, as you rise up, there's that Aston Martin badge that recently received an update, one of the few times it's ever been updated, and it's still hand painted from the factory. Love the look. The hood. With this being a front engine vehicle, you have a nice long sloping hood. You do get a bit of a bulge in the center, and then you'll see that there's these wire mesh, just like up front on the front grille, wire mesh heat extractors to help pull the hot air out from underneath the hood. Just look at the way that they created these body lines. That's the attention to detail that Aston Martin brings compared to the competition. Now, as we come around that big long nose, what do we have? Wheel and tires. So what you're going to find up front are these 21-inch wheels. They're forged aluminum. Love the machine styling that they got, the flat black accents, that sort of like triple spoke design. 6-piston Brembo calipers, gloss black with the Aston Martin badge. That almost looks like a big brick of licorice. black licorice. Let me know in the comment section if you like black licorice. I actually kind of am very fond of it. These wheels are forged, so when you add up the weight, all four corners, it's 60 pounds less unsprung weight. You'll see that we have the two-piece carbon ceramic brake rotors. That's an option on this car, $13,000 option. That's going to give you ultimate braking, and that's what also helps on cutting down the unsprung weight. Tires. They put some real high performance tires on this, and this is what leads us to see that this is a luxury supercar, because if this wasn't meant to have those supercar elements to it, you wouldn't have these tires. These are actually the new updated Michelin Pilot Sport 5S tires. Up front, 275 on the width, 35 series sidewall, and we have adaptive suspension, all four corners. One of the little things you kind of have to see, and I'm going to have Lori kind of showcase with her camera skills, this is actually a functional side fender vent. Goes way deep inside with the Aston Martin badge, a little bit of silver trim there. Really great style. And then with the top down, it's one of those cars that with the top up, it looks good. In a coupe form, it looks good. But when the top is down, that's when it's looking its best. We do have power folding mirrors with the Q-Ion blue color on top. A little bit of gloss black, but the window frame is mostly in the same body color. Because of the fine luxury touches, we have some more of that aluminum style finish, very similar to what's on the side, flush mounted door handles. And then just look at the way that they carved the side skirt extension, including the addition of the extra arrow with the gloss black. But as you come all the way up front, this I love right here. Look at the way they cut it in, and then the air just flows down the side of the vehicle. I'm gonna have Lori kind of swing around over here and show the flared fender. This has a Coke bottle shape to it. Nice flared fender coming into the rear. Thank God they did that, because guess what? Out back we have tires that are 325 on the width, 21-inch wheels, so 21-inch wheels, all four corners, wider tires out back. Of course, we have the carbon ceramic brake rotors, the Brembo calipers with the Aston Martin name. You have an electronic limited slip diff, and this car is rear-wheel drive, and it doesn't have rear-wheel steer, so it really gives you a nice sort of planted feel in the corners, even for such a long vehicle. But definitely, when you look at the ceramic brake rotors, the forged aluminum wheels, these are all things that lead us to believe that this is more than just a luxury car. This is really showing us that it's a luxury supercar. Now, as we come around the back, I love the way you have the tonneau cover where the top resides underneath, that two-tone interior with the light blue and the tan. And then look at the way they did their lighting. Super signature, super clean. Of course, you have this little spoiler that's gonna pop up in the back. The Aston Martin name with that hand-painted badge. And then working our way down to ground level, a functional rear diffuser, that dual outlet exhaust with the slash tip. And then one zonk I have to give it are the little bumperettes. These are DOT required. I just wish they could have done it in a different way, because they just, I don't know, I just want to take them off to really clean up the back. But man, oh man, this thing is absolutely gorgeous. Let's go ahead, let's pop what they call the bonnet over in England and see what power plant is underneath. Right, guys, we have that bonnet up. Now, before we go any further, I just want to give you a little tip so that you look like you know what you're doing. If you ever get yourself an Aston Martin and you're so excited that you just take it to your first Cars and Coffee event without really looking it over or reading the manual, if you go to pop your hood, the hood release is on the passenger side, not the driver's side. Because remember, in England, it's right-hand drive. That's why it's over there. They don't move it over to the left side. So take the tip so that you look like an expert. Underneath the bonnet, what do we got going on? First of all, check out this bracing. Nice flat black powder coated, ties in the firewall with our shock top mounts. Speaking of shock top mounts, you can see the wires for the adaptive suspension. You got dual throttle bodies and dual turbos underneath that heat shield. But what do we have actually power-wise? So what you're looking at is a 4-liter twin turbocharged V8, 671 horsepower, 590 pound-feet of torque. It's mated to a ZF 8-speed automatic transmission, 0 to 60 in about 3.2 seconds, quarter mile in 11.2 seconds, but here's the kicker. Top speed, even the convertible, 202 miles per hour. It gets 15 mpgs in the city, 22 on the highway, and the vehicle itself weighs 4,150 pounds. But if you notice that engine, it's actually a front mid-engine because the engine is pushed back the front axle. Front axle's right here, engine is far back to help with the balance. They call it a front mid-engine. I mean, let's just call it what it is. It's a front engine, but it is pushed past the front axle with those twin turbochargers. But why don't we go ahead, if you're ready, I'm ready. Let's fire up this British icon and hear what it sounds like. All right, guys, we are inside this 2024 Aston Martin DB12 Volante. It's a mouthful, but you know what? It's a mouthful of car as well. Now, I know you're probably saying to yourself, well, Joe, I'm cashing in my 401k. I think I'm gonna give up and retire maybe when I'm 80 or 90. So I definitely wanna pick one of these up. How much is it? Great question. MSRP, the way that this one is spec'd, especially being a convertible, is going to be $325,700. Let's see what Aston Martin brings for the cheddar to the door panels. I love the leather. You have that light blue paired with the light tan, and it really brings the door panel alive. The one thing I do have to zonk is the amount of gloss black. A little too much for an Aston Martin, especially that chrome trim that turns into your door handle. Not my favorite, but we do have the Bauer & Wilkins premium sound system, 15 speakers, nice aluminum speaker grill cover. No gloss black around the switchgear, which is good. And then the door pocket is large enough for 5 British scones. Just make sure your scone is not too soft, because if it is, it's called a muffin. And then you'll also see how the door is angled. This has swan opening doors, so they actually open up at an angle. Really nicely displayed to allow you to get in and out. Now, going from the door panel to the dash, same story. The blue leather, the stitching is on needle point. This gloss black and the chrome just doesn't feel right in this car for $325,000. You'll notice down below you do have a super-sized wireless charging pad for your iPhone 47 Platinum Edition. And then for the first time ever, Aston Martin has their own multimedia software. So this is their new 10.25-inch screen, navigation. Of course, you could go into your home screen. We could bring up our car to where we have full telemetry with gauges. And then, of course, my favorite are the drive modes. Now, you could personalize your individual mode. You hit personalize, and that's where you could set up everything from drive, exhaust, all that good stuff. Or what I like to do is use the new knob around the start-stop button. You twist that, and that's what brings up the different modes: Sport, Sport Plus, and then of course below that we have full out GT. So you got Grand Touring, which would be your sort of like normal mode, because this is a GT style car. Let me throw it in reverse. Backup camera super clear on the resolution, which is really nice. Put it back into park. All of this is new for 2024. So instead of having that push button shifter on the dash, I like the way they brought the dash lower, and your shifter's right here with the blue leather, 8-speed automatic. You do have your little barrel roll controllers. I love that for the fan, your dual climate. Of course, you have heated seats, ventilated seats, and heated steering wheel. The famous Aston Martin badge and that start-stop button. You could shut off the traction control, open up the active exhaust, adjust your suspension, all by the press of a button. This is the new toggle switch for the top. The top goes down at up to speeds of 31 miles an hour, and it takes about 15 seconds. little bit too much gloss black. Now on the side, we do have all of our electric seat controls, which are normally on the side of the seat, but they actually put them here. I like this better than on the door. So easy access. You got all those memory seat savings, which are great. And then open up this gloss black door. What do we have in here? 2 cup holders. There's your updated Aston Martin key fob, Aston Martin badge, Aston Martin on the side. Look at the leather, that crisscross. Open it up. You got 2 USB-Cs, a 12 volt, and you could put 1 small bar of gold. So I remember there was like a period of time where it was all about, we buy gold, we buy gold, we buy gold. Well, I hope you've been holding on to your gold, because you're gonna need it to get one of these, but you can keep that 1 last gold bar with you. Keep it safe as you drive around your Aston Martin. The leather, high-end, embroidery, all hand-stitched. Love the way they did the pleated, the nice bolstering, and like I said, full electric assist for the passenger and the driver. We have this convertible top, which is interesting. It's actually an 8-layer process with materials to make it dead silent in here. Even with the top up, you got that Alcantara all throughout. And then watch this. Supercars normally don't have this. Back seat. So the same great leather, the Aston Martin embroidery. Obviously, this is going to open up, which is really nice. And then I like the way the center console extends all the way back to separate the 2 passengers. But really, you got to be as big as maybe a paper mache doll or a Care Bear or 2, because there's not a lot of room back there. But you can make it work. Can't make it work in a Lamborghini because there aren't any rear seats in a Huracan. You put this back, all electric assist. Come over here to the business side. I want to show you behind the new digital gauge cluster in this Aston Martin. All right, guys, business time behind the wheel. There is a large sill to get over, but once you figure out how to drop into the seat, it feels good. And I love the way it's got this plate here, hand built in Great Britain with the DB12 Aston Martin. Pedal box looks fantastic. Aluminum style brake pedal, throttle. I just wish they gave us an aluminum dead pedal, but it's crazy how it's actually bolted like that with an exposed bolt to the floorboard. Kind of just gives it a nice little cool factor. I'm sitting here and these seats are spectacular. I mean, they're soft, they're comfortable, they got enough lateral bolster. And what's great is I could easily get to those seat controls, like I said, a lot better than if they're on the door. A lot better. Steering wheel, the fine leather, flat bottom. You do have some gloss black on the thumb controls, but the best news is you got metal surfboard style paddles to the back of the wheel. It is an electric tilting and telescoping steering wheel. And then you have that all new digital gauge cluster in the center. Love the clear graphics. And then of course, when you go into the different modes, it changes its color. So there's Sport Plus, and then obviously you go back down, you could go even into Comfort, and which is your GT mode. One thing it is missing, which I don't see, is a head-up display, which I'm kind of perplexed that it doesn't have a head-up display. But why don't we go ahead, it does have a trunk. I want to see how much room there is in this luxury supercar. All right guys, time to get into the trunk, lift it up. What's nice about the car is that you have a pretty decent amount of room. It's 7 cubic feet of space. The great news is that it doesn't change whether the top is up or the top is down. Plus you have the back seat area to put some other luggage, duffel bag, whatever you have for your journey, which remember, a lot of supercars don't have a large trunk or frunk, but this is pretty decent for the type of car it is. But you know what? It's that time. If you're ready, I'm ready. The tea's made. We have some nice British scones. Let's go ahead though. Let's go on throttle in this Aston Martin. All right guys, we are inside this 2024 Aston Martin DB12 Volante. I love the way this car is just wrapped around me by like a Louis Vuitton glove. I wanted to start with the top up because I just wanted to show off how good it is with the top up when it comes to keeping outside wind noise and road noise, but it still allows you to hear things like the exhaust, which is great. Another thing to remember is that the paddles are now behind the wheel rather than bolted to the steering column. So they're bolted to the wheel, not the steering column like in days past. You do have launch control, real simple, left foot on the brake, right foot on throttle, and we are, of course, in Sport Plus mode. If you're ready, I'm ready. We're gonna start with the top up, and then we're gonna drop it. Here we go. On throttle, God! Jeez Louise. I tell you, this car really has this power, the sound. You're getting the muscular V8 twin turbo sound, some pop, some bangs. But if you notice, there's not a lot of wind noise in here. They did a phenomenal job with this top setup. And even though the car feels like it's a mile long, it's actually quite nimble. And remember, we don't have rear wheel steer. So they're able to take that race car engineering. Remember, Aston Martin has won Le Mans, it's won 12 Hours of Sebring, tons of big race events and championships. They bring that DNA in all their cars, especially this Volante. Are you ready? Slow roll, first gear. Oh, here we go, yeah! The grip is ridiculous. The brakes, you stop on a dime and you give everybody some change. I mean, those carbon ceramic brake rotors, pizza size, are stupendous, but the sound of that V8 is what really makes my heart pitter patter. And then the history, driving a legendary brand like Aston Martin, I don't care what model it is gonna do things to you on the inside that only an Aston Martin can do. But the sound quality with the top up is just second to none. Second gear, on throttle, here we go. All the way out to 7,000 RPM on the brakes. Look at the balance, look at this. Really hugs the road nicely. It's those tires, it's the forged wheels, the carbon ceramic brakes. Like I said, less rotating mass. And then of course, using a top quality tire like the Michelin Pilot Sport 5S tire. Really gives you the grip. Now I'm gonna go ahead and put the top down. It's real seamless. And that really is where this car just goes to another level, is putting that top down and just giving you that open air experience. You can put it down at up to speeds of 31 miles an hour. So top is down. Now I'm gonna put up the side glass so that you could hear me a little bit better. But I love the rake of the windshield, and getting to those paddles are well within reach. On throttle. Oh my God, oh my God. This is out of control. You should not be able to have this much fun with your clothes on, especially in a luxury car. Usually luxury cars, it's about being softer, but that's what I like about Aston Martin, is that, yes, it's a luxury car, but you have that supercar power behind it. On throttle, here we go. It gives you an eargasm every single time. You'll notice that with the rake of the windshield, you're not getting a ton of buffeting inside, but you're getting all the great sound. On throttle, here we go. On the brakes. Look at this. Some lightweight here. The car is a little over 4,000 pounds, but she loves to dance. And that's what separates Aston Martin from a lot of the other brands, is that it brings a performance level that you're just not gonna get anywhere else. But then you're getting all the luxury. I love the waterfall layout of all the new switches and buttons and knobs on the center console. Much better than previous years. And obviously the massive metal pedals are easy to get to. You're not gonna miss a shift, I promise you. But that's what this car is about. It's like, you're not just moving your body. I know I've said this before about certain cars, but this is one of them. This car moves your soul. And that's what I love about it. The sound alone is worth the price of admission. And then you look down at the speedometer and you're like, what? This thing has such a ferocious acceleration, but it's so smooth. So smooth. It's crazy. And even in Sport Plus mode, the suspension is not too tough. So you're gonna be okay even driving it in Sport Plus mode. It's not gonna shake the fillings out of your teeth. But the great news is that you don't have to drive this car fast. It's just as much fun to just drive like a normal human being, whatever that looks like. Being a normal human being, you could drive this normal. Steering wheel feels great in my hands. These seats, my body has never felt so good in a drop top performance car. And the fact that this car will do over 200 miles per hour. That's the length of a football field every freaking second. Mind-numbing. Absolutely mind-numbing. But the seats are comfy. I would like to see this car as just a two-seater. The back seats are nice. Yes, you can stuff somebody who's willing back there, but it's not a lot of fun sitting back there. So it'd be cool to see this as a two-seater. I guess that's what they have the Vantage for. But it just feels good on a sunny day to drive this thing, drop it down a couple gears. Listen to that sound. It's mesmerizing. You ready? On throttle, here we go. Those carbon ceramic brake rotors are worth every penny. I know it's a pricey option for some, $13,000, but it's worth every penny because you shed speed so quickly, nice and rock solid, stable. And that's the other thing, is that this chassis is unflappable. I mean, you're able to pretty much do anything with it, and it just handles so superbly. So superb. On throttle, here we go. Where's my towel? Oh my God. This thing is crazy. Absolutely nuts. But you know what they say, all good things must come to an end, which sucks, because I wanted to keep going, but I know Aston Martin's gonna come pick up their car tomorrow, so I gotta fill up the tank and bring her home. But let's go on throttle one more time together. Actually, let's start from a dead stop again with the paddles. You ready? Launch control. On throttle, here we go! Look at this. It's like taking candy from a baby. control. This thing is out of control because so much luxury, but so much performance. It really is a luxury supercar. It really is. But we're gonna get back to where it all started, so I'll see you in a split second. All right, guys, it's been an amazing day. I mean, we gotta thank Vanessa and everybody over at Aston Martin for getting us access to this Aston Martin DB12 Volante press fleet vehicle. Let me know what you think. Is it the perfect blending of luxury car with supercar that really no other brand can touch? Let me know down how you feel about it in the comment section. But if you're new to the channel, you're on your way out, hit that subscribe button. I promise you it's worthwhile. Come back for more. If you are a subscriber, thank you for being part of the Raitis Rides family. We got to give it up to the superstar of Raitis Rides. That is Lori Givens, Raiti, behind that camera, working it like a champ. Thank you, Lori, for all that you do. And just like always, guys, I'll see you on the next ride.